Hello, this is David. I should put on my other glasses. I can't see without them. But I want to record some stuff for Oprah. I have no idea what Oprah thinks of me, or if she even sees any of my tweets. But I just felt compelled to record a video for Oprah. Really since, I guess the topic I want to talk about is the mind. Right now I'm poor as poor can be. I used to have two homes. Now I live in this dump. I'm just going to show you how big of a dump I live in. Not that it matters, because I don't really care. It doesn't make too much difference to me. This is the dump I live in. This is where I sleep. Sleep on the floor. But you know something? That material stuff never has meant that much to me. I had two really nice homes at one point. I had a beautiful little condo. And had another nice home. Had built a fish pond in it and everything, but you know something? When I had all that stuff, I didn't enjoy it. Because I always knew there was something wrong with me, and I didn't know what it was. Finally, everything caught up with me. Got older in my physical body about 20 years ago. Just kind of crashed. I just didn't have the energy anymore. But really all my core problems come back to one thing. They call it attention deficit disorder. Of course, in our day, we didn't know anything about that stuff. And I've never went in and, I guess one time I went in and had it checked. But it's just, I've learned so much in the last 20 years about all this stuff. Just learn on my own. I'm convinced therapists don't know much. At least the therapists I went to didn't spot it. So I wasn't very impressed with them. But that's the only time I went into therapy. Really, I haven't even read anything about it. It's all been a quest to understand it on my own. It's very interesting, the mind. I probably recorded about 10,000 hours about the mind. And like last night I was looking about something about OCD based on my last 20 years of, well, it's actually been since 2008 where I've really been looking at the mind, and just my own mind, just studying it. And like last night I looked about something about OCD and I was like, that's so simple. Because I'm seeing it from my perspective and not what they teach in schools. I don't know. I don't even know. I have no clue what they teach in schools. I don't read books. I have ADD. I don't read no books. But so let me pause this a second. I need to take a break. But yeah, I had that all my life. Always knew something was wrong. And I keep researching this and that. But one of my core things that I came up with is that really ADD is begins as leaky gut. I'm convinced it's actually a physical problem that causes a mental problem. Now, it's not quite, no, no, things aren't always that simple that one thing can always lead to another thing. So that's not the core problem, because there's people can have leaky gut and not have ADD because your brain gets wired at a young age. And then once it gets wired a certain way, you can change it, but at least I think you can. But it's usually what makes people successful and not successful is like let's use Joe Rogan as an example. I don't know if you know much about Joe Rogan, but Joe Rogan was by what I can tell, had extreme ADD. A lot of people try to call ADD also as introvert. It's really the same type of thinking, um, but he was an extreme introvert, I guess you could say. But it's really the same process. It's a same fundamental brain process where a person, their thoughts are drawn basically inward. I don't want to get into details. I'm writing books about this stuff, so I don't know what people know, what people don't know. But I think I know more than a lot of people. So I don't want to give away too many secrets because people steal secrets. I give away way too much as it is, on Twitter. Stuff I just tweeted was way too valuable. Because people aren't stupid. People figure this stuff out. But that's the goal, to master the mind. Just even Buddha back, how long ago was Buddha? I look it up all the time, but I forget. That's my problem. The ADD mind doesn't remember things because well, I don't want to give away that secret. Okay, I'll tell that secret. The ADD mind uses the same type of mind that you use when you dream. Now, when you dream, everybody says they're not an artist, right? But when you dream, in a sense, you're the artist. You're painting pictures and scenarios. It's almost like a movie. And it's so brilliant. Sometimes it's so brilliant and so crystal clear and so amazing, but you're actually painting that with your mind. You're creating that and painting that, even though you're not using your hands and seeing it visually through your eyes, you're still doing it, right? So in a sense, you have the capacity to be an artist. It's there. If you can dream it, it's just a matter of physically knowing how to write it by seeing another way, right? It can be done. I'm convinced. I'm not saying I know how to do it, but so anyway, when you dream, see, I don't want to go deep into another topic. I'm always going down another rabbit hole. But anyway, what was the point I was trying to make? Oh, when you dream, you forget that stuff, right? I mean, not unless you make a conscious effort to remember that dream. And that goes back to something I don't really pay too much attention to Deepak Chopra. But he did say one thing once that caught my eye. He's, I don't know if I want to give away that secret either, because I don't know if Deepak knows how big that was, what he said. But anyway, you don't remember. You don't remember the stuff because you're using a different part. It's a different part of your brain. And that's why I don't remember stuff, is because I don't use, I use that part of my brain most of the time. And then, of course, I don't know when Eckhart Tolle wrote this book. I'd already come up with all the same things he came up with. As far as, but how do I know for sure? I've never read his book. But I knew we were on the same path when I seen his book. I think it was like 2009. I was on the Oprah forums. And I seen everybody talking about this guy called Eckhart Tolle. I mean, everybody's just worshiping this guy, saying, "Oh, Eckhart Tolle this and Eckhart Tolle that." And I never read the book, but I'd listen to people talk about it, and I'd come up with some of my own stuff at the time, which someone wrote a book about. So I don't know if I'm gonna write a book about it, but I wasn't real impressed with what he came up with. Um, Let me pause this for a second. But I don't know where he got all his information is. I mean, probably a lot of it from Buddhism, probably. And I haven't studied that much about Buddhism, but I think it's an interesting study by what I've seen. It that type of thinking in that area. I mean, everybody's. I get mad at Christians. I get mad at scientists. Even I get mad at everyone because everybody's on the same quest to have peace of mind, right? But then a lot of people aren't on the quest to actually see what caused our minds to go haywire in the first place. And just to give you a little food for thought, in Genesis, they didn't know what fear was. Adam and Eve didn't know what worry was. I don't even think they had the capacity to fear or worry. But there's something Satan did in Genesis which is so simple that Christians can't see it. There's hidden secrets in Genesis that a lot of people can't see. When Jesus said the things were hidden, he's the Word. Jesus is the Word. And the Word is anytime God's Word is in the Bible, that's him, whether it be Old Testament or New Testament. Now, in the New Testament, we see a total revelation of who he was. It's just a more fooling. It's just like if you see someone coming, right? If you see someone coming far away, you don't see them as well. But as they get closer, you start seeing them and you start seeing them more and more of who they are, right? And that's kind of what the Bible is. We get a glimpse of who God is, and he's getting closer and closer, closer, closer. Finally, he manifests in Jesus, and we get to completely see him. So when you look at the Bible, you got to look at it all. There's one thing I do want to answer. I know Oprah had a question. I think Oprah had this question. Seems to be in my brain that she made this statement once, and I don't follow Oprah super closely, but I do remember stuff. Some stuff just sticks with you. But Oprah made a statement about there was a prophet in the Old Testament. I think there's Elijah and Elisha. I think it was Elisha, if I'm pronouncing it right. But Elisha came and he just got. I think I don't read the Bible that much. I should, but I have chronic fatigue and crap. I never have time. It's hard to make regular people understand. I have sleep problems, chronic fatigue, ADD, and you're always chasing your tail just to survive, right? But anyway, I don't want to get into that. But this prophet, he had just got the power, and he didn't know what he had, right? He had no clue how powerful what he was as far as what he had. It's a pre-coming image of Christ. So when he spoke a word and a lion came out and killed these children, he didn't know that was going to happen. I don't think he knew the power that he had. And according to some prophet called, not prophet, but, what's this guy's name? Let me pause. I gotta find it. According to this guy named Kevin Zaddia, was it him or someone else? I don't know if it was him or not. But there's coming a time that when a Christian speaks, whatever they say is going to happen. There's coming a time that when a Christian speaks, it's going to be so powerful that whatever they say will happen. That's coming. In a sense, all of this ties together. You know, people, this cognitive thinking, you know, where people actually pay attention to their thoughts. Because, you know, thoughts, of course, manifest as words. They all don't have to manifest as words. We have a thing called choice. Whether we allow a thought to manifest as a word. There's so many things I'd like to tell you and give you the understanding on. There's so much stuff I know that other people don't know, that Christians don't know. That let me just share something real quick. Let's finish up on the story about the prophet. You know, that he spoke and it happened. That's why that happened, because he didn't know. He didn't have any clue that would happen. That lion would come out of the woods and kill those kids. He didn't know he had that kind of power. So that's why that happened. I know Oprah doesn't understand. There's a lot of things Oprah doesn't understand. So there's a scripture in the Bible that says, "Lean not unto your own understanding." We have two truths that come to us. It's either God's understanding or our own understanding. And the difference between us and God is so huge that scientists can't imagine it. I mean, with God, you're talking about a person who knows, according to what I've heard, which I really believe it's true, is that and I haven't heard this one yet, but I believe this is true also, is that God has already written everything about a person's life. He has a plan and a story for your life. He's already written it. Now, I also believe that Satan has written a book also. He has a plan, a detailed plan. He has a plan for everybody every day of their life. And then we also are in the picture as far as writing that story. You know, one of the biggest things is a secret that any human being can do is to write their own story of their life, right? That's what it's all about. You know, it's too bad a child can't be born and have the capacity to figure out their whole life and then just walk it out. And see, I don't want to get into that. And as far as me, I'm really not in the Christian life. I'm not there. I can't even really call myself a Christian because I'm not doing the fundamental truths of Christianity. And that's a whole nother story, which I can almost write a book about why that. To make other people understand, I'd almost have to write a book about it. Then even if I wrote a book, you got people that, because they haven't lived through the same experiences, they wouldn't understand. So that's what makes all this so complicated. I can understand it because I'm 60 years old and I can look back and understand how everything went. It's a shame we don't live to about 120 like the Bible says, even though I'm convinced we can. I don't know if you're up on what's going on, um, just as far as what man. See, there's two ways to have life extension. Kevin Zadia, who has very open revelation with God, said that when he was taken to heaven, he saw the river of life, and he knew that if he took a drink of it, he would live 1,000 years. We've seen stories like the movie. What was the movie? Oh, we've seen the movie The Green Mile, where the guy was given life. I think some of the people that write some of this stuff get a little glimpse of what's going on. They're really writing about some of these truths. But Moses lived 120 years, and he would have kept going. He would have kept going. So anybody that gets close to God, they can live 120 years. But you really got to get close to God. You can't be playing games. You can't be playing. I mean, you got to have the real thing, And God's good. He's willing to give anybody anything. I mean, he's not an unreasonable person. And it's I'm trying to explain too much stuff at once. That's what I do. It's like I got 100 books of information, and I'm trying to communicate it all in a matter of 30-minute video. It's not going to happen. There's so much stuff I know. So much stuff I know. I guess the thing that's frustrating for me is I got to go back to work. I've got 10,000 hours of stuff I've recorded that I need to go through. And half the time I can't even live in the moment because I'm too tired. But God's got a plan also, I'm in a sense I know the Oprah's interested in this type of stuff. I personally think that Oprah's totally turned off by Christianity, and a lot of it's because she just doesn't understand. Um, she just doesn't understand what's really going on. So she finds things, and it's just like Jesus said when Jesus said, "You have to eat my flesh and drink my blood." It's almost like Jesus wanted to turn some people away. It's like thinning the herd. Oh, that's exactly what he did. He's only gonna tell people that get close to him the real secrets. But he thinned the herd. He knew exactly what he was doing. And he didn't give a rat's ass. Like, I mean, he cared, but he had to do it. He had to do it. So the herd got thinned down to the 12. But he thinned the herd. Sure did. Am I in that herd right now? Am I in that present group of the specials of the specials? No, I'm not in that special little group. Do I know the truth? Yeah. As far as what's stopping me, still got to grow more. And Oprah's not in there. I don't think. No, she can't be. She can't be. Because I haven't listened to Super Soul Sunday for a few years. But as far as the place I saw Oprah, she was talking about people that were get on the edge of almost getting miracles, That's just the edge. The reality when it comes to God is that, oh, he'll heal everybody. In the Bible, when Jesus came, he said, the kingdom of God has come unto you. But that doesn't mean that they'll enter in. As far as getting what exists, I mean, it was present. It was in their now moment, but that doesn't mean they're going to get it. But he did demonstrate that it was there by he healed. He said, the kingdom of God has come unto you, and then he healed everyone. Why? Because there's no sickness in the kingdom. And he's the door, right? Now, what's the key? His word. His word is the key. He's the door. And then beyond him is the kingdom. See, most people are most Christians, I don't know of any of them that understand it, is it when Eve, I hate to give this secret away. Well, probably no one's going to listen to me till the end of the 30-minute of my video anyway, so I'll go ahead and give this one away. What most people don't understand is that Satan's word is a door. Satan's a door also. But what people don't understand is it's a door to a reality. So when Adam and Eve went through that door, who Satan was the door, they shifted realities. They shifted spiritual realities, and they entered into Satan's kingdom. And then God says, "Where art thou?" Because they didn't even know. They shifted. And there's a secret on how they shifted, which I kind of just said. And even today, we know that a thought is, we've written movies called The Matrix, where they'd plug in people's brains, and the reality that they saw put them in the Matrix, and they believed they were there. But in all reality, any thought puts you in another reality, right? That's why we have so many problems as human beings, because we all exist in different words and different belief systems, and we all are not in the same place. God said, "Where art thou?" We're not in the same place. We might be on the earth, but we're not in the same spiritual place. And that's why Martin Luther, I'm trying to explain too much in a very short period of time. That's why Martin Luther King was successful, and that's why a lot of the black leaders today are failures who've continued the movement. Some of them, I've seen one of his daughters recently that was on the right track, but most of them are more interested in power. But Martin Luther King got on a ground that was supreme, which was called love, right? And Jesus tries to tell the disciples do it and Christians do it, and no one does it. I don't do it. Too stupid. We want other things, right? David said, "Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." But we do. We want power. We want control. We want respect. We want all these other things. And I'm almost out of time here. But Martin Luther King got on a ground that couldn't be shook. And that ground was love. And of course, God says, "I'm love. I am love." So he got on that ground, and that's where he started getting success. Now, no man's perfect. Did he walk on that ground? Did he walk on that water of that ground of love all the time? God knows the truth on that. But at least he tried to walk on that water, right? I'm out of time. That's all the time I got. Got to end this.